Yeah, I know I'm pretty late to talk about Barbie, but you know what? Life is busy. Give me a little break, man. Hello everyone, this is ICBs here and today we are going to talk about Barbie and the impact it has had on our culture. You know, Barbie felt like a really decisive movie and a lot of people were calling it a woke propaganda movie. Basically everything that could be shoved into this movie as a propaganda, they were probably going to do it. But then it came out and it was kind of good. You know what? Not just good, it was actually great. It made over $1 billion, became one of the best selling Warner Brothers movies of all time, and they're probably going to make a franchise out of a Barbie movie. I don't know how it's going to do, but yeah, they're probably going to do it. But the thing is, why did Barbie did so good? You know, like when I hear the reviews, people talk about, wow, this is a really great movie that leans a lot towards the left, and other people say that it's a great movie that leans towards the right. So what's the problem? You know, like how is it that this movie is managing politics so well where other big movies fail really badly? And I'm particularly referring to the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And the way it did really good is that it really balances things out. And the question is, how does it balance things out in the first place? Well, instead of leaning towards one side or the other, they just take the exact middle of the road situation and they just say, well, we're going to stay exactly in the middle of this political spectrum. And the way they did that is that they showed both sides of the politics. In Barbie land, you have basically matriarchy and you have a feminist dreamland, and in the real world, you have patriarchy, basically everything that's wrong with the world today, apparently. And the movie does a great job of showing what's bad in the both worlds, and a lot of people might be put off by saying that, well, the real world isn't like that. Like as soon as Barbie comes out, she's being hit on by guys and a lot of people are hitting on her, and some guy I think just comes up and he grabs her. So a lot of people might say, well, this doesn't happen in real world. But you know what, like Barbie had to show that to exaggerate some things in the real world so that it can draw contrast between the Barbie world and the real world. And it shows that both sides are flawed. Now we've talked about what's wrong with the real world, let's talk about what's wrong with the Barbie world. And in the Barbie world, we will see that Barbie world is basically consistent of dreamlands and dream houses basically, and in those dream houses live Barbie and Barbies, and each one of the Barbies have their own dreamlands, and they don't allow Kens to sleep there. And at some point, some lady in the movie asks Barbies, well, where do the Kens sleep at night? And Barbie just nonchalantly says, I don't know. So basically the lives of Kens is really miserable in Barbie world. So the movie definitely shows that both sides are flawed and that we need to have a conversation. And I think that's the best kind of a message that you can give in a movie, that both sides are flawed and that we need to come together to have a conversation on how to improve going forward, how we can rectify our mistakes. I think that's the best message literally any movie releasing in 2023 can have. I mean, if you have a movie that you're releasing that has a more right-leaning perspective, you're going to fail. And if you have a movie that's leaning more towards left, you're going to fail. I mean, it's really decisive nowadays because no matter which side of the movie you make, your movie is going to get hated. But Barbie breaks that barrier because now both sides of the spectrum loves this movie, and they love it because this movie doesn't tell you what's the right way going forward. Like, it doesn't tell you that the right is right or the left is right. It just tells you that, hey, we're both here, we're both people, and we need to have a conversation. I think equality is about balance, and you can't have balance if you're on one side of the fence. Both sides need to come together because, well, we're all humans after all, and we must face our issues together. And I think that's a good place to end this very short video. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below, and as always, it's time for a goodbye.